Okay, we're going for a ride to take a dump at the dump. 8 o'clock in the morning. Get it over and done with before the big rain. It's gonna be a little noisy because the lovely little mud terrains, but it's okay. Fresh air is good. Oh, some giant smash. Construction going somewhere. About 60 degrees out. Put a little air defrost on just to clear this windshield up a bit. I don't want to fight to prove that I'm better than anyone else. The album is by the band Shelter. It is Perfection of Desire. The song is Free Will. Krishna Core. Big problems. Third gen. A little Honda CRV. Sneaky little thing. Was handed to them by their free will. Second gods, that's all we are. Not manipulating you to even the stars. Robbing from the earth, stealing from the trees. Yours, what do we own? Now family, property, it's all unknown. That's a tongue twister. Saranagati. That is a tongue twister. Saranaga. I'm trying to understand you beside me and you got me like no one else can help me see you in everything in you. Well, will I create all that we do?
to choose to love you or leave you behind. In reality, we create this wild thing. I'm sick of this fallacy. Another
Hey, problem.
creation and we're just some leaves. My fulfilling your desire, we find our relief. Controlling apart from you, create a small breeze. Music becomes dry, we cry and drop with the breeze. Try to gratify my senses, what have I gained?
The so-called pleasure, sensation of pain.
Fool myself with
With
love,
love, again and again. Attracted by romance, smashed in the end.
surrounded by people,
Left all alone.
and even I'm undressed, I felt for the
What a powerful statement. Surrounded by people, but left all alone. Okay, the windshield's clear. Eat to the feet. I really wish I could do video editing because I could have my phone recording and then do a side-by-side, but I don't know how to do that. So anybody out there, give me some pointers. It would be a monumental accomplishment for me because I have a hard time getting the shit down from my camera to my computer. Yeah, you look at me and you're like black satanic war metal. But then you're in my truck and what are you listening to? Hare Krishna Core. Beautiful. The band Shelter. The singer Ray Capo and the guitarist John Porcelli. From, I know Ray was from, I believe, Wilton, Connecticut.
In other words, what's the question?
Here's a good little,
It'd be enjoyable if there wasn't.
listen, no talking.
You take that away. I mean, what's the right? What's the fun? So the whole thing is leading up to orgasm. Then what is orgasm? It's one split second. When I say split, I mean that as a double entendre. Split because as soon as I get there, it's like, oh boy, this is it. Here we go. This is what we've been leading up to. This is the whole symphony has been, you know, ready for this one note. Like what is that Schubert's Surprise Symphony? You know, that boom, right? The whole symphony's leading up to this, and we're fixing it. Wait, I don't want to yet. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. Yes, you do. If you do, it's over. But if I don't enjoy it. If you do, it's over. If I don't enjoy it, it's over. Isn't it? And holding off is like, ow, oh, pain, practically speaking, right, to hold off. And then for it to be over, it's like, oh. And this schizophrenia people call pleasure. And the game is that I can be something that I'm really not. That I can be some kind of number one. Basically, we're playing God. And here, we create situations in which, you know, we're number one. Baby, you're my everything. That means we're trying to be Krishna. And it is by Krishna's arrangement that we have this opportunity. And it's by Krishna's arrangement that he creates this illusion that's so realistic that I can sit here and tell you this. You can think about it. You can even argue if you want to. You won't be able to defeat it. The fact that you are not your body. You'll hear it. It'll make perfectly good sense. I've talked with professors, I've argued with philosophers, logicians, that no one is ever defeated because they can't. But you'll sit here, listen to this philosophy, and in all likelihood, after the feast, you'll walk out the door and go back acting like you're a woman, a 20-year-old woman or whatever, right? That illusion is so powerful because every soul has free will. He can choose to live truth, or he can choose to pretend a dream in which he extrapolates the reality of his own being vastly beyond what it really is. He cannot admit that he's a part of something bigger, like the hand is a part of the body. It has meaning, it has identification, and it is experiencing happiness in relationship to the body. It gives food to the mouth. The mouth passes to the stomach. The stomach digests, then goes through, right, and the blood is bringing energy to the hand. If you cut the hand off, it withers up and dies. It has no meaning. After a while, it becomes so dried and that you couldn't even identify it. But this situation of consciousness that we are in the material world is like that, a kind of separated consciousness. Now, Krishna consciousness means the original consciousness of the self. This is not some religion. We are not a religion as opposed to Christianity or Judaism. We're not trying to convert people from being Catholics to being Christians. Okay? It doesn't have anything to do with religion, ultimately. Krishna consciousness is the original consciousness of the soul, of the self, myself. I've been thousands of, just like you've reincarnated every 7 years. People say, why do you believe in reincarnation? You're reincarnating all the time. You reincarnate at least every 7 years because you're in a totally different body. You understand? There's not one molecule there that was there when you were 10. Not one. You're in a different body, an entirely, 100%, absolutely different body.
I agree.
That is reincarnation.
I agree. Cells
and then
die,
there is
you
the
grow new
discontinuous
ones.
kind of reincarnation, when your karmic clock that causes you to think you are this character in this play for what we call a lifetime, when that clock runs out according to your karma, which is determined the kind of life that you're famous as Elvis Presley, and then you croak sitting on the toilet as Elvis Presley, that's the end of your karma. And at the end of that lifetime, then you go into another body, unless you've stopped playing the game. So you've been thousands and thousands of different bodies, and you have those bodies, as I've explained before. You get a certain type of body, a man-mobile, a woman-mobile, a Mozart-mobile, or whatever, a football player-mobile, according to your desire, how you want to boogie in this world. You get the type of body that goes along with it. You get the right kind of legs, hands, eyes, right? You want to be very beautiful, you may get, if you have the karma, you may be very beautiful. And in this way, lord it over every way. All the men are checking me out as I strut through Nittany Mall. Eat your hearts out, boys. Right?
There's a bus driver on the bus,
and this is why
not
we've
wearing
had
a
so many
mask.
bodies. But in every body, we experience the same frustrations. We experience the pain of birth, and going through all of the ignorance of being a child, the fears, nightmares, the lack of understanding, and you can't communicate. You're crying like anything in a crib, screaming at the top of your lungs, right? And your mother thinks you're hungry. She's putting the bottle in your mouth. You've already got gas. That's why you're crying, right? She's like, here, take this bottle and shut up. Here, take it. Here, you want the binky? And you're like, right? This is part of being childhood. It means ignorant, stupid, and you suffer a lot. Childhood is not bliss, right? Like the animals suffer a lot, right? They have worms and things, and they look up at you so sad. You know, what's wrong? They can't tell you. Ignorance is not bliss, not by a long
95 is backed up, 8 o'clock in the morning.
Since you mentioned the Pittsburgh Steelers helmets, do you ever go to a football game?
No.
Go to a movie?
No. We don't engage in what we consider to be more or less diversionary type activities. There is a goal of human life. Human life is meant to be serious. That doesn't mean morose. But we experience our pleasure on a higher level. There's sensual pleasure, intellectual pleasure, like that. But as I was saying earlier, the self is actually the spirit soul. And the pleasure for the soul is not in seeking some temporary gratification in the play of colors or some configuration of bodies running across lines on a pasture. But the pleasure of the self is
I
found
wonder if
in
there's going to be a
pleasing
big
God,
line.
just like
It's
my hand gives
Tuesday.
food to the mouth.
Usually
So
Mondays are
there's
a
no
massive
question actually about
line.
being happy. We may divert ourselves temporarily.
There may be a big
But
line.
there's
Who
no question of
knows? We'll
happiness
see.
apart from serving God.
I can't help but notice that there seems to be a paradox in that you are a Krishna leader with your robes, but you have an extravagant digital watch on.
Extravagant. This is a $12 Armatron watch from David Weiss, and I use it so that I got here at 5:30 this afternoon instead of 5:45. There again, we utilize those things which can be engaged in Krishna's service. We're not impractical. In other words, a watch is not sinful as it sits there ticking away. The question is, how do we use it?
A football game's not sinful.
Not so much that it is sinful, but if in watching the football game I forget what is my eternal nature, trying to find pleasure in a few minutes of this or that, on my way to old age, disease, and death, and another birth of an undetermined nature, then it's actually a most improvident engagement.
A priest would, in many cases, feel the same sort of love of Christ that you feel of Krishna, but yet would not feel bad about going to something that you might consider a diversionary pleasure.
But in the Bible, Jesus says, if the love of the world is in you, the love of the Father isn't. And the first commandment is love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, and soul. It's kind of hard for me to imagine Jesus Christ and St. Peter sitting up in the stands, like calling for a blitz and screaming, nail him, nail him.
We have the level of vision in which we see ourselves not as individuals, but as Americans. And therefore, when in our frustration, having gotten our butts kicked in Vietnam, and ignominiously leaving with the last few people grabbing hold of the helicopter and kicking off, our buddies, our ex-buddies, now the, gooks, just get off my leg and let me get out of here, right? So ignominious defeat, and everybody's so embarrassed and this and that. So now we have this nice fantasy where either Rambo or Chuck Norris or somebody goes back and whoops them all, and we can lay it to rest, right? So there's so many of them. I think someone was telling me, even this guy, what is this detective in Hawaii that drives the Ferrari, right? He went back too and beat up some more of them.
Magnum PI.
Right, Magnum PI. So, in this way, we're able to overcome some of these problems we had. I'd like you to consider for a moment that this Americanism is an extension of
And now we sit behind the van.
the self. And that accepting this, all of these things become possible. These absurdities, these absurd fantasies.
Okay,
these are all
enough
based
babbling.
About a mile of beach at least partially washed with oil. That plant focuses primarily on 350 miles of shoreline in Preston itself. Provides for a natural wind action up the rest, as the site concerns that extends area beyond the south, as far as 500 miles from the Preston itself. Also at this time on the
Oh. dump. I will be video documenting my journey recovering from Lance Adams syndrome, trying my best to get my life back. And I am very much on my way, but it will be a lifelong journey. And there are moments when I have acceptance and moments when I have repellence of it. But, you know, I keep trying. That is all that I do. I keep trying. Sometimes I wind up on the couch for days, and you know what? The couch is comfy. And I got the phone number in my phone for the dump. I just call them when I get close enough. When I go on a big truck going by. When I get close enough to the scales, and I just call them, and they say, okay, just go on in through and drive around. Don't even stop. We know you don't have 300 pounds. Because, you know, they understand my situation. And I will just keep pushing myself. Like that song Hatebreed and Necro. Not Hatebreed, but Necro featuring Jamie Josta from Hatebreed. Push it to the limit. I will continue to push myself. Because that is just what I do. That's the way I've always been. In the name of comfort, that is a badass Bentley. Wow. It's a Bentley SUV. Wow, beautiful black tinted windows, beautiful truck. Let's take it in the woods, why not? Hey, I don't see a reason why not. Here's the gym to the right that I tried to attempt to go to, but there's no handicap entrance. And last year when I was trying to go, like, I can't be going here and struggling to get in and then struggling to get out. Different levels all over the gym, stairs. So I got my big pile of wood, and that's my gym. Oh, it opens up at 6 a.m. It closes at 2. I didn't know that. It used to be 5. Except on Friday and Saturday, it used to be 5. Alright, we're almost here. I will turn the camera back on once I get situated. It's almost over.